Hey, welcome back once again, guys. If you're coming here based off of the title of the video, then you're probably thinking this is a concrete, factual based video about Illinois. I'm just going to warn you ahead of time, it is not factual based. It'll be from my own opinion mostly, but you're going to find that a lot of people from the state of Illinois think exactly like me, and it'll definitely help you start your search. I won't be providing any concrete facts. Everything I'm going to say is stuff that I've just merely witnessed in my own lifetime. Now, I grew up in the state of Illinois, in the middle of nowhere in a small town, but a lot of things that people don't realize about Illinois is that most of the counties in Illinois are more than likely going to be voting Republican each year for anything, and that's just how it is. But the reason that Illinois always seems to go Democrat, it seems, in elections is because the bigger cities, and I mean this is true for most states, but the bigger cities always tend to go Democrat. Now the problem is there's a big difference between Chicago and the rest of the state. The rest of the state is full of rural farming communities, while Chicago is, the bustling metropolis full of industry. And I mean, in Illinois, Chicago is really the only thing putting Illinois on the map. To be truthful, I mean, without it, it's just another quote unquote like flyover state. But Chicago is really the only thing putting it on the map. But that's led to some dislike from Southern people, that, to put it nicely. But people in the South really feel, and this is true. You can talk with a lot of people. They really feel like they're having to pay for Chicago people problems, which I mean, to a degree, I mean is true. I mean, our tax dollars all go across the whole state, and I mean that's obviously probably the area where most of the tax dollars go, and it's kind of understandable. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of not. I mean, the capital of Illinois is Springfield, but it always seems that governors are always in Chicago, not Springfield. And I mean, I think there might actually be like a governor's mansion in Chicago as well. Don't quote me on that, but they spend a lot of time in Chicago. And I mean, for me, one thing that's wrong because Chicago itself is really not that big of a portion of the state. I mean, it's huge. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, a lot of the state, land-wise, is not Chicago. I mean, I get it. Chicago represents the majority of the population, and I mean that's probably who you're trying to make happy. But there's other people out there, and a lot of people are not happy about it. Another thing is, I have yet to meet a single person who likes Madigan, and I don't like to get too political on here. He is probably the reason Illinois. No, he is the reason that Illinois is just bleeding money. Illinois has undoubtedly one of the worst financial states of any state by far. There's only maybe California's worse off, but Illinois has refused to fix a problem that has been ever present for many years, and it's really annoying to me to be able to sit down as an 18-year-old with friends who are 19, 20, 18, just like me, and we can sit here and be like, this is a problem. As 18 and 19-year-olds, we can see that there's a problem, but our own state government refuses to do anything about it. Now I know someone's probably going to get offended that I said they're not doing anything, but my representative is. Well, let me ask you, what did your representative do? And if they did anything, I'll be more than happy to admit that I'm wrong. But if you want to try and challenge me on anything, go ahead. Sure, I believe it was so in the 90s. The Illinois state government made a pact. They're like, we're going to follow this budgeting plan. We're going to get out of debt, and everything's going to be great. Except that they made the idea and didn't follow through with it, so that backfired in their face, and they just have refused to go back to it. They just this is the phrase that I use. They just keep sweeping it under the rug. You put it under the rug, you don't have to worry about it. Except what happens when you put so much under the rug that the rug can't cover it? You buy a tarp, You string down the tarp, because that doesn't solve the problem. That's just covering it up. It doesn't solve the problem. You need to solve a problem when it's small, not wait for it to be big. It's like I said earlier in another video. Procrastination is not the way to go. That's the one thing that I can be concrete about. Procrastination is not a good thing, but apparently it has been adopted by our government, which is a little ridiculous in my opinion. But Illinois is bleeding money. No one's trying to fix it, and there's a governor election coming up. And Rauner and Pritzker seem to be the ones with the major advantage in the polls thus far for their primaries. Me myself don't know how I feel about either of them. Honestly, at this point, I don't think governor means that much in Illinois, because Madigan's got a death grip on the state, and until he's gone, no one can do anything. I mean, Rauner, to his defense, did try to stand up to him, and he did stand up to him, but all it did was kind of cause a little bit more suffering and misery for the rest of the state. I mean, with the budget crisis that went on for so long, I mean, it to a degree, standing up to him only hurts those down below you. I mean, I know, like, the government not necessarily passing a budget didn't really affect us all that much, but, like, it's one of those principal things. A budget is to be passed, and a budget is really to be followed. Now, no government in the history of man, I feel, has ever followed a budget tooth and nail. They always go over somewhere, and they don't seem to care about the consequences. And so that's why there's more to shovel under the rug. But I mean, people have been recently asking me, my friends, because I'm kind of into politics. They've been asking me what my thoughts are on the governor race. I don't necessarily care that much, because I mean, Rauner tried. I mean, to his credit, tried to stand up to him, and it didn't do anything. I mean, it didn't do anything. Rauner couldn't do it himself, and that's a problem. There is no more bully governors. The governors can't bully the state legislators like they used to. Same with the president. The president can't bully Congress like he used to. It used to happen all the time. You vote for whoever you want. You can do your research. I'm not going to go into particulars, but I know a lot of people in the South really have a disliking of people from Chicago, like representative, like governor-wise, like people from Chicago. So, like, I think that's pretty much all of them are from Chicago that are running. So, I mean, it's kind of like a, well, who do you choose type of thing, if that's your criteria. I mean, I know you can look at more specific things like their policies and stuff, but you really, it comes down to who you think is gonna stand up to Madigan, I guess, and be effective with it. I almost think it needs to be a Democrat to stand up to Madigan, just because, I mean, you have to be able to take votes away from Madigan's side, and it's sad, but Democrats aren't gonna stray from Madigan to go vote with a Republican. It's just not gonna happen. So if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to be a Democrat, but you're gonna have to make sure that that person isn't just a puppet for Madigan, because Pat Quinn, in my opinion, was a puppet. He didn't do anything. He just did what he was told. That's my opinion. You can have different opinions. That's okay. But I mean, I really feel like it's now or never. Someone's got to step up and answer the call. Someone's got to stand up to Madigan and tell him, look, here's the statistical evidence that what you're doing isn't working. And someone's got to challenge him. Someone's got to challenge him. He's got to be taken down from his power. He's been there for far too long. And I know people are saying put term limits on, and I honestly agree. I mean, term limits, it's a sticky situation. If you put term limits on something, then you perhaps get rid of a great guy too soon. But if you don't have term limits, then you might keep getting the same crappy guy for some reason due to some illegal thing, because I have yet to meet a single person that likes Madigan. I'm being serious. I've talked to tons of people, and I have yet to meet a single person who has told me wholeheartedly they like Madigan. Not a single person. I don't care what their political party was. They're Republican or Democrat in my area. And the other people say the same thing. They're like, it doesn't matter the party. Everyone I talk to says they hate the guy. And they have no idea how he gets reelected every single time. I know a lot of people speculate gerrymandering. I mean, who knows? He's arguably the most powerful man in Illinois. No, I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna say he is. He is the most powerful man in Illinois. And you can dispute me all you want, but no one has stayed in power longer than him and done worse things for Illinois as a state. I mean, you can argue with me tooth and nail, but the fact is, he's been at the forefront of sweeping stuff under the rug every single time. And I think it's time to stop sweeping stuff under the rug. I think many people can agree. Stop sweeping it under the rug and do something about it. Because it's gotten to the point we all can see it. You can see the giant hill in the rug. You know what's under there. You know it's there. They know it's there. They're just counting on you not realizing it. They're counting on you not caring. People are leaving Illinois because it's in shambles right now. No joke, I left Illinois to go to school in a different state for college, really partially because the state is in shambles and I get so frustrated with the state government not doing anything. It really gets me going. Just a crappy joke. Laugh. I know. Crappy joke. Get used to them. But they don't do anything, and it frustrates me to no end. And I mean, ultimately, someone has to do it. And you know what? When someone finally does it, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna commit political suicide. It's gotten so bad that if anyone were to actually do something, every person in the state would hate them. Because do you know what that would mean? It would mean an increase in taxes, or cutting the budget, slashing the budget to nothing. A lot of things would not get money anymore, and everyone will hate that candidate. Everyone will hate that candidate. And that person will commit political suicide in that state anyway. Now, it's what has to be done. At the very least, you can stop the bleeding. That would help. Just stop wasting money. But ultimately, someone's got to just slowly reverse the effects. You have to reverse the effects. And it's got to happen soon. If you wait too much longer, it'll be near impossible. But I mean, I like to give people my opinions just to, educate them on different opinions out there. Because I believe we've come to a time in our society where people get set in their ways and they refuse to look at other people's opinions and see other people's opinions. And that's not the way democracy is supposed to work. Democracy, to its core, is supposed to make people compromise. So when Rauner and Madigan and House Democrats and all them, whenever they're arguing about the budget, and we don't have a budget, it's not supposed to be that way. That deadline should be treated like a deadline. And people really, truthfully, should work together to get something in the middle. Okay, maybe Rauner gives up this part of his plan in order to get another part of his plan. That's how it should work. Both sides should give a little, and in return get a little, until they can both mutually agree, okay, this is fair, this is even. That's how it's supposed to work. And that's pretty much how it worked for years and years and years. Until everyone got really steadfast in their ways, and I'm not sure what necessarily triggered it, but people started thinking my way is the right way, and it's my way or the highway, and that isn't how it's gonna work. It can't work like that. I mean, it literally can't work. You have to compromise, or you're flawing the very fundamentals of a democracy. I mean, democracy at its core is great. Every single form of government is great at its core. On paper, every government works. Communism even works. Monarchy works. Oligarchy works. But the problem is, in certain situations, too much power is held by one individual. You get one bad individual, whole thing goes to shambles. That's why democracy is a lot better. However, Madigan's got it on lockdown and somehow kind of found a way out. But I mean, even he can still be challenged without a revolt. But something has to be done soon. Someone's got to step up and take a stand. And I mean, if it's still a problem in 5 to 10 years, you may find me out there taking a stand, because it bothers me that my home state can be looked at by other states and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Because Illinois is a nice state. It's nice. It's got corn, beans. It's got Chicago. Chicago's kind of a nice city. But, I mean, I don't go to Chicago that often. I've been there like twice. But, it bothers me. It's my state. And, I mean, I want to make my state the best it can be. And I think many people can agree with me. But, I mean, we just have to band together and fight a common enemy, and that is the government as a whole. It's the problem. And so, together, we can fix it, but we have to come together and we have to be willing to compromise. That's the very bitter end. But that's all for today. I had just kind of like thought about that here recently, and I wanted to share with you guys. But that's the end for today. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video, to the channel for more rants about government, among other things. I'll do everything. But remember to subscribe, and you all have a good day. Bye.